When I started gardening, it was very confusing for me to understand the sunlight requirements of plants. Online articles mention things like 8 hours of sunlight, dapple shade, partial sun. All these words were very confusing for me. So today I decided to make a video that helps explain sunlight requirements in an easy to follow manner. And it will help you contextualize requirement to your location. I have divided this video into two sections. The macro view that talks about the relationship between the sun and the earth, and the micro view that talks about specific plants and their requirements. So let's get started. All plants need sunlight to make food and grow. However, they need an optimum amount of sunlight, neither too much nor too low. Now, how do we know what's optimum? For that, we will have to think macro and understand where on this planet are we located and our relationship with the sun. Confused? Let me explain. Sun is the only source of sunlight for Earth, and therefore it becomes important to keep three universal facts in mind. Fact number 1. Earth is spherical in shape and it revolves around the sun. The part closest to the sun, the equator, receives maximum heat intensity and is the hottest, while the poles are the coldest. Therefore, the climate and the weather patterns you experience depend on where you are located on the earth. This will impact what variety of plants you can grow. For example, plums and apples love cold weather, whereas mangoes and lychees enjoy tropical weather. Fact number 2. Earth rotates on its axis, and this axis is tilted by 23.5 degrees. This tilt causes seasons like summer, winter, autumn, spring. And due to this tilt, the sun shines on different latitudes at different angles throughout the year. So the intensity of light reaching the earth is different at different locations. And this impacts what you grow and when, especially in case of vegetables and flowers. Fact number 3. At night, the earth cools down. After 8 to 12 hours, when the sun rises in the east, the morning rays feel gentle and they are best suited for plants to start photosynthesizing. By the time sun sets in the west, the earth has been heating up all day, so the evening sun will feel the hottest. This will have a direct impact on the amount of heat your plants are subjected to in a day, and so appropriately positioning your plants in your property will become extremely important. Keeping these three factors in mind, try to understand the climatic and the weather conditions of your location. Once you do that, you will have a better idea of sun's impact on your property, whether it's a balcony or a farm. Now let's jump to the next section. Now there are three categories of sunlight requirements. The first category is full sun, which means there is no barrier between the plant and the sun. All flowering plants and fruiting trees belong to this category. Most of your vegetables will come in this category. Now, if you're living in temperate zones, you will be growing all your food under the sun, under full sun. You will experience very cold, snowy winters and mild summer months. Because you will not be able to grow anything in the snow, you will need a greenhouse that will be warmer than your surroundings. The greenhouse will help you overwinter plants and help you start vegetable seeds much before spring arrives. If you live in tropical or subtropical climate zone, you will need some kind of protection for your plants in summer months to keep them from burning under hot sun rays. The second category is partial sun, which means that the plants need a break from constant exposure to the sun, especially during the hottest time of the day. This could mean any of the following. Your plants are placed on the eastern side of the property and they are receiving the gentle morning sunlight. Or they are planted on the western side, like this Aparajita vine here, that gets sheltered from the setting sun because of these trees and shadow of the wall behind it. Or it could be that the plants are placed closer to the window inside a home. If you live closer to the equator with plenty of sunlight throughout the year, then all your flowering plants and vegetables will do well in partial sun. Summers will be very hot and you will have to invest in green netting to provide shelter to your plants to keep them from burning. The third category is partial shade. It means receiving little to no direct sunlight and more of this ambient sunlight. So imagine planting under the shadow of a building or a porch or a tree and receiving sunlight only for an hour or 2 or 3. You can grow microgreens and leafy greens in this light. I have these tropical ornamentals growing in partial shade. I live in Gurgaon, which is a semi-arid area, and we have very hot and dry summers, and winters are smoggy and sunless. But even in peak winters, when there is almost no sun in my property, I have grown cauliflowers, tomatoes, brinjals, chilies, and all root vegetables in partial shade. So when an online article tells you a minimum requirement of 8 hours to grow tomatoes, contextualize this information to your location. Now, if you're living in temperate zone, partial shade will invite chilling temperature and danger of frost. So a greenhouse will come in handy again. Then there is this fourth category which is often talked about called full shade. I personally don't really believe in that category because plants can't thrive in shaded conditions. They just about survive and therefore are called shade tolerant. They are tolerating shade, they are not thriving in it. A lot of ornamental plants fit into this description, but not edibles. Now, while in this video we have particularly discussed sun requirements, it's extremely important to remember that many other factors like humidity, rainfall, wind directions, seasonal temperature extremes, and your surrounding microclimate and the environment around your property has a direct impact on plant growth. Once we take into account all these factors, we can build a sustainable kitchen garden that thrives in your particular location. I hope this discussion was helpful. Do please watch other videos we've made and follow us as well. I will see you soon. Bye.